Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the sonnets, and today we've got Sonnet 19, which goes, devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws, and burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood. Make glad and sorry seasons as thou fleetest, and do whate'er thou wilt, swift-footed time, to the wide world and all her fading sweets. But I forbid thee one most heinous crime. Oh, carve not within thy hours my love's fair brow, nor draw no lines there with thine antique pen. Him in thy course untainted do allow, for beauty's pattern to succeeding men. Yet do thy worst, old time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young. So this is a continuation of the theme of immortality, wanting to hold on to somebody's beauty as long as possible, but it's shifting away from the please procreate into the I'm going to take this up with time itself is what Shakespeare is going for here. Shakespeare spends the first 7 lines telling time, mother time, father time, whoever, the personification of time, to go ahead and ravage whatever it sees fit, destroy the lions and tigers and make the seasons as crazy as you want them to be and do whatever it is that you want to the world. But please don't make my lover age is where it sort of ends up. It's like, let my lover, let him exist forever as the paragon of beauty that everybody else should be compared to. And then in the last 2 lines, Shakespeare's like, well, I guess this is something that I don't really have control over, but through my poetry, my lover will always be young and therefore beautiful. So it's interesting for a couple of reasons. I think it's interesting. A lot of the previous sonnets, the first 2 stanzas, so the first 8 lines have been about one thing, and then the third stanza, lines 9 through 12, have sort of flipped that, and then lines 13 and 14 have put a button on it. Whereas this one, lines 1 through 7 are talking to time, and line 8 is where the flip turns and changes to, but I forbid thee one most heinous crime. It's setting up that lines 9 through 12 are going to say something else, and then really just 9 and 10 say, like, don't be mean to him. Lines 11 and 12 are like, please be good, because he'll be beautiful forever. And then 13 and 14 is like the final, well, there's nothing I can do. He'll just be beautiful through my poetry. So there's a couple of flips in this one, which I think is interesting. And another tidbit that I found interesting as I was looking at some analyses, there are analyses of this sonnet out there that say that Shakespeare is writing it from the perspective of a woman, which we don't know that. There is a reference in this to the subject of the poem. Whoever wrote it is talking to time about this other person, and this other person is identified as male in the poem, but I don't think by any means that means that the speaker has to be female. That's very heteronormative and a weird thing to put on this when we've just spent the past 18 sonnets having Shakespeare as a man write about the beauty of another man and wanting this other man to have kids and all that sort of thing. So whatever gender roles in all of these sonnets speak to you, go with those ones. Don't necessarily pay attention to, writing about a man, must have written it from the perspective of a woman. Like, pshaw to that is what I say. But I do like that this sonnet is turning things a little more external. Obviously the speaker is still very much in love with this person and wants this person to stay young and beautiful forever. But now, instead of addressing that person directly, is looking for external help to let this person stay young and beautiful and immortal forever, make the beauty last, before turning in and saying, well, really the only way that I can make this person's beauty last forever is to immortalize them in my own poems. which in previous sonnets were said to be maybe meh, but whatever. What are your thoughts? Did the sonnets succeed in preserving this person and this person's beauty? One could make the argument that they did. We're still reading them, or at least I am. And I will be for a few more days, including tomorrow when we're going to dig into Sonnet 20. I'll see you then. Mwah.